This is my musical round of applause to everybody who shows up on a Monday. Whatever they're doing, knowing that you're pulling your weight. And we do it all the time. I may be one man in a microphone, but I didn't get here on my own. Mama taught me my first song, and brother let me sing along. When they didn't have to. We hear it every day. This world has gone astray. They wanna be the first to tell you it's getting worse. But what they don't tell you is people coming through. People like you and you and you. You didn't have too much to do what you do. You keep on coming through.
Have any of you seen the Surfing Madonna mosaic on the Coast Highway at Encinitas Boulevard on Luqueya Pizzeria? This is a nonprofit that produces art and poetry events across the county. Please check out their Facebook and website. The money they raise goes to their passion. They introduce special needs people to the ocean. And they do that through surfing, and along with their partner organizations and volunteer surfers, they bring smiles and joy to people that might have never experienced the ocean. We thank them for tonight's sponsorship. They paid for the house. And their leaders are here tonight, and they will be collecting your donations. Mike and Kathy, stand up.
Yes, stand up, you guys. Yay!
Now, in addition to that, we got some other business here. The Coast News is asking you to vote for your favorite North County business. The Best North County contest takes you to a place online, thebestinnorthcounty.com. Each person can vote one time per day. That means one day for each 365 days. And voting opens tomorrow, March 22nd. Help the Coast News find the very best businesses in North County when you vote online at thebestofnorthcounty.com. All right, we got that out of the way. We'll also have somebody doing a survey tonight from the city. We all love the city, don't we?
Yes.
And more about that later. Without further ado, I think, poetry slams were started in a bar in Chicago years ago. It wasn't a contest then. It was just people coming in after work to do their poem. And as poets all agree, they want the first poet to do a very fast poem so they can do their poem, hence the name slam. So we have a 3-minute rule, no props, no costumes, no instruments. Has to be an original poem. And I have my stopwatches here. We have an incredible MC for the night. I think I've wasted enough time. Marit, come on out.
All right. Okay, folks, welcome. And thank you for showing up on this very rainy spring, the first day of spring. Very brave of you. Thanks, Kathy and Mike. And I want to show some of the swag that the judges are getting tonight. I was awarded a Surfing Madonna Artist Award. I was surprised at Art Night by Kathy with this wonderful award. And part of it is a Surfing Madonna. They call it a beach towel. I call it a wall hanging. That's a test. Yay! So congratulations, all you judges will be taking one of those home. All right, thank you. So, what is your name, sir? Tony, is it Tony Krantz? Is it Mayor? Oh my God. Thank you. Oh my God. Do you love Encinitas or what? Mayor Tony Krantz is our sacrificial poet. So, you can put my cape on for me, thank you. And so you guys practice judging on Mayor Tony Krantz. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I'll try and be fast. This is not a poem of my own. I'm going to be sacrificial reading someone else's poem. I'm reading it in memory of some folks that have meant a lot to me over the years when it comes to poetry and the slam. So for folks like Bob Nanninga and Swami Bruce and Maggie Houlihan, I have decided to, yes, let's hear it for all of them. I'm going to read a poem by E.E. Cummings called Maggie and Millie and Molly and May. Maggie and Millie and Molly and May went down to the beach to play one day, and Maggie discovered a shell that sang so sweetly she couldn't remember her troubles, and Millie befriended a stranded star whose rays 5 languid fingers were. And Molly was chased by a horrible thing, which raced sidewise while blowing bubbles. And May came home with a smooth round stone, as small as a world and as large as a loan. For whatever we lose, like a you or a me, it's always ourselves we find in the sea. And that's by E.E. Cummings, and I think it's super appropriate for a city like Encinitas, which has a beautiful theater like La Paloma, where poets can gather and fans of poetry can gather. This is a city of creators, and I'm very proud to be able to serve as mayor. Thank you.
Wow. Are you ready to start with the real work now? Okay, our first poet of this slam will be June C.
Okay, I'm happy to kick off this poetry slam. I'm a local Encinitas, and in Encinitas, and I've lived here for almost 40 years, and I just love it here, and it's a great place. So shout out to Encinitas. This is my poem called Existential Agony. At the end of the 16th century, Shakespeare composed Hamlet's soliloquy, perhaps questioning his own relevancy, asking his now famous question, to be or not to be, to address the pangs of existential agony, while explorers like Christopher C. scanned the horizon, contemplating 2D or not 2D, then convinced royalty to finance their journeys across the deepest seas to prove to the world the Earth was in fact 3D. This big blue marble continues to turn and churn, filled with debating, advocating, and manipulating, thoughts about to be or not to be, now expressed in a 28-character, 280-character tweet instead of a 33-line soliloquy. Some now take E for ecstasy to transcend their misery, while others fantasize what lies beyond the surface of their iPhone Silicon C, no longer contemplating to be or not to be, but instead whether to swipe left or right. Thank you.
All right, thank you, June. Okay, are we ready now to go on to Nathan?
Hello. Does everybody hear me? Yes, I'm Nathan, and you probably guessed from my accent, English is not my first language, not second, not third, and not even fourth. I learned English in 1980 when I emigrated from Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Used to be part of Soviet Union, that empire, who wants to be empire again. And I learned it in Canada, Ontario. There I did my PhD in chemistry and physics. Worked for companies in Canada, and then they decided that there will be more use for me in this great country, United States. I lived here for 30 years, 14 and a half in Canada, about 15 years in and out from Japan, and many years in Europe. Always loved poetry. I write in 3 languages, and lately English is my favorite language. So, This one I called Real Men Don't Eat Quiche. The heart of every human runs to its own beat. It's like loving or crying. And only falling asleep often feels like dying. In that moment when I cannot change anything, when I am tired of trying to change, to become understood, to endure any more the endless war, I can accept it all like death. I feel the unbearable lightness of dying. Death is the highest degree of serenity, and I keep on living into infinity. The time drums to its own beat. Somehow, he has to make peace with all these clocks, watches, computers, smart and not so smart phones, and so on. And if you are a man, you have to love football, golf, hunting, fishing, basketball. It happened so that he adored ballet, but was afraid to admit it. And only in the end, the one whose name we whisper even can't will pronounce, I love ballet, go dance, and he will dance.
All right. Woo. All right. Ooh. Thank you, Nathan. All right, next, Jessica Z.
Where I meet love. Sometimes I just feel sad, my head goes under, and I can feel my whole self sinking lower and lower. It's a silent but ruthless place. Hunger in your belly keeps you from trying to swim back up. Malaise from the day feels like your blanket entrapped with too much water. What was once comfort has become a weight latched onto your body. How free fish seem with their water-resistant sheets. How happy I've been when I've had a snorkel mask, but I can't predict when to mask up for this. My goofy gill hands and fish lips are still very human. I can only comfortably hold my breath for 30 seconds. So by the end of the day, pressure builds up in my chest, and I don't know when it will release. I am unwantingly playing sinking corpse, waiting for revival. The lows get cold. I could blame it on the metaphorical water temp, but really it's the unintentional low calorie intake. It all gets kind of fuzzy. I shiver. Sinking is a lonely expedition without any reach of light, but remember all the people who would latch weight belts onto their hips and dive tanks to their backs just to tread water besides you. One of my best friends is a dive master who once lent me her underwater torch so we could see life through the murkiness together. My other best friend is a swim coach who has always given me unspoken reassurance in intimidating ocean conditions. My brother sails. He taught me how to flip back over my own capsized boat. My mom dove to the bottom of the swim pool to rescue me when I sat there unfazed as a toddler. They are all CPR certified. I am convinced each of them would have their own way of meeting me here again and again and again until they see me out from the surface into the better parts of myself. I can feel the floating coming soon, and so much love is ready to meet me there too. Thank you.
Right. Jessica Z. Hey, Leslie.
Great to be here, everyone. My poem is called The Life of the Party. Uncle Butch was the life of the party, died of a stopped-up heart, too many steaks and pork chops, too many beers and shots. He died of a stopped-up heart. The relatives came to his She said no to the beers and the shots, so they played stud all night with wild cards. His friends also came to his mother's. They wanted his pearl-handled guns, played poker with lots of wild cards with hard-eyed women in bars. She gave them the pearl-handled guns. He'd been married but couldn't stay married to hard-eyed women in bars. His cousin, a nurse, had rode with him. They were closer than if they'd been married, in the ambulance for 90 miles, his cousin, the nurse, riding with him, her mouth black and bruised, CPR. The ambulance wails 90 miles, but all of those steaks and those chops, his heart black and blue, CPR. Uncle Butch was the life of the party.
Woo! Okay, judges next. We have Jim Bobway.
Whoa, hey, it's bright out here. Hey, how's it going? Hi, everybody, it's story time. A kid got arrested last Saturday night. He's 4 years old. Does that sound real? Does that sound right? I attended the hearing in juvenile court, and when it was over, I filed this story, this report. The judge walked in about 8:30, took a quick look around, and said, "Sorry, I'm tardy, didn't mean to be late." And during a brief habitual ritual around our rights, files were lifted and shifted next to a weird little scale where a blindfold might not be able to distinguish the difference between delinquent and gifted. The public defender turned and signaled for two people to come forward. "You're the boy's father," said the judge to the dad. "Yes," came the answer, "and I'm really angry," which is different from the other word which could be used to describe the current status of my emotional condition. "Raise your right hand and don't tell any lies or I'll toss you into jail with a bunch of other male inmates." "Do you blah, 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 bitty, bitty, wapty, blay?" "I certainly do," replied the man. When the judge said, "Tell me what you know about the situation, but keep it shorter than a dissertation," this is what the man said. "First, you need to know about our son's name. I'm part Hispanic, French, and Chinese. My father was Jewish and half Japanese. Grandpa was part German and Grandma was part Cuban. My dad's name is Joe, but Mom calls him Reuben. My wife and I own a local Greek deli. I bake lasagna and she makes the jalapeno jelly." "I know it was loud," admitted the man, "but does a musical genius deserve a night in the can?" The mother was next and spoke these words here. "My name's Garcia, first of her name. My mom's maiden name is Smith Yamashita. She's a Swiss Navajo. Her name is Juanita. My dad's part Egyptian with roots in Brazil. If you don't mind predictions, you're in for a thrill. You see our son's name, you may have some questions, but first, let me make the following suggestions. Jesus Luther Zappa Gandhi Buddha Garcia, the 4-year-old can play guitar like Paco Lucia. His voice, it stops the night and taps it on the shoulder. Clean your ears and listen now before you get much older. We don't know how it happened because he hasn't had a lesson. He speaks of peace and says we won't be needing Smith & Wesson. Right about then, we heard a distinctive twang out by the parking lot, a bit of Hendrix, a little Santana. The DA hit the table with his hand clenched as a fist. That was his reaction when the judge said case dismissed. A robe got tossed and floated down and all the way to the floor. We followed in the judge's wake as she sprinted through the door. Let's go out, let's rock and roll, let's awaken from this trance. Pick up what you've got and bring it to the dance. Jesus Luther Zappa Gandhi Buddha Garcia, the 4-year-old plays guitar like Paco Lucia. Jesus Luther Zappa Gandhi Buddha Garcia, vaya con Dios, aloha, ave Maria.
Thank you, Jim Bobway. Next, we have Brad.
If you're retired and don't know what to do, I suggest taking a class in something you always thought about. I took a creative writing class, and it changed my life. This is called How I Got Here and Where I Am. I enjoyed my work till I started getting jerked around. I didn't like that one bit, so I quit. Now what, spend all day eating in the kitchen? That led to too much bitching and strife with the wife. I like to do dishes once a week. Wait till they reek. She prefers every meal. That has no appeal to me, so even if I was famished, I was banished to my den where I sat like a blob, missed my job, had no fun. What had I done? I felt like a weed whacker who cut its own power cord. I was bored. In a fog, I started a blog where my secrets were shared, but nobody cared. Then like a boob, I got addicted to YouTube. Evolution of dance. Top 10 Engelbert Humperdinck songs. There was only one. I posted pictures on Facebook, but nobody looked. I read Meghan Markle tweets. That was a complete waste, much like doing nada. Then an idea. I thought I might be able to write. So I enrolled at Miracosta to get the most of what talent I had, good or bad. Took a creative writing class, not knowing if I would fail or pass. I knew poets don't get paid, but it can help a guy get laid. I joined a poetry group. We met at 3, bring your similes, went till after 4, and your metaphors. No longer alone, I expected to be well known. I had a lot of hope because I was good at rhyme. What a dope. They haven't done rhyme for a long time. Practically in a coma, I heard about a slam at the La Paloma. I didn't know what words to use, so I begged my muse for help. She didn't give me a long spiel, said, just tell them what you feel, tell the truth, but more metaphors. That's how I got here. Here's where I am. I am lost lightning, randomly extending my pen toward the earth to find my place in the world. I am thoughtful thunder attempting to arrange rain into wise words. Full of life but unfulfilled, I try to twist twigs into poetic nests. I am a buzzing, bewildered bee frantically flapping his wings, hoping to feed on nectar notions. I am a frozen hummingbird waiting for fire to thaw me into melted ink that flies and flows onto the page and stage. I am an unfocused wave, periodically chewing bites from the edge of the earth, my permanent mark yet to be revealed. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Brad. Okay, guys, let's see. Next, Adam.
Hey there. My name's Adam Ventnor. This one's called Blood Magic. She said, give at the blood bank if you wouldn't mind. I said, is there any other kind? Life for a life from all are one, the money worth of nature's sons. All this of dying for another, but just watch every other mother. They bury themselves, spoon by spoon, underneath moon after moon, living just to die and give a chance for someone else to live. With all respect to God the Son's myth, a martyr's death's over and done with. Like trapping beach sand in a sieve, a parent dies and has to live. It's what our magic blood demands, every single grain of sand. And that's what every bank is for, and every penny's made of. Blood to hold and take and give, the due that flesh is paid of. Blood is all that we can do, but mother's magic gets us through. This lightning bolt punched through the earth, everlasting proof of worth. The sight of heaven's stubborn beams on faces of our children's dreams. The need to give them everything, like highwaymen or puppet strings. It's not a choice and not our voice. The only reason to rejoice that nature made us slaves to life, a dutiful, obedient wife. Because the magic's in our blood, we rose up from primordial mud. And now it's for us to achieve a balance to our holy cleave. As life is drained away from us, as round go wheels on the bus. We keep it only if we find some other blood to hold our minds, a bank to serve so we can own, or better yet, savings and loan. Blood spread out on fertile earth, that's all that can preserve our birth. There's desert seeping loneliness, paling dark dirt's holiness, sun-bleached and exsanguinated, overly illuminated, stretched by magic to exist on something no life can subsist. Though magic may be shining through, blood is all that we can do. And if we never pay the price, a life alone will not suffice. We die as long as we're alive, and whatever we must survive. The muffled pageantry of days made hollow as our blood betrays and draws us into labor's pains, till less and less of us remains, and skin that makes us who we are recedes beneath the burning star, and we become as blanched as stone and caked back to the earth alone. And all we learn is rising muds that blood is magic, magic blood. I miss you, child, away from me, forever bouncing on my knee. Like you, I was born in December, but I can no longer remember. What you have is what I was, and what I am is just because you're here and living, safe and small. Whatever I gave it all. My blood, my magic child alive. I will go on and seek and strive. I can't conceive what you have cost, If everything, there's nothing lost. But maybe there's more blood to find, and the future will be kind. I may be rising yet in you, and if I do, it's just for you, and not because of magic, and not because of blood. You're more than I ever had to give. If I gave all, there's more to live. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Okay, we have two more poets. Next is Scully Fox.
This one is called When I Imagine. When I imagine, I can feel your touch softer than a brand and more permanent than anything I've ever known. When I imagine, there is quiet and there is still, and I can feel surrounded by brick walls, and maybe they'll strip away if I can claw and keep slamming myself against them. Or maybe they won't. I remember the cold no matter how much I sweat. I can still taste your breath, the bitter without sweet, the teeth only a moon can pull from a wolf, and I was alone. When I imagine what I wished it had been, I was someone else, without a red hood, without skin that could melt in your mouth, and you were kind. And I will try to run, but my legs don't work like they used to. My voice has gone soft. All that I never gave to you, if only it was further from the truth. I let you show me the way when I wasn't lost, but I'm lost now. When I imagine, I can feel me lifting this word like a weight, one that I am too weak to carry, but too paralyzed to drop and say. But you remain the heaviest. Would dropping you make me lose myself too? I've wanted to tell you that I never wanted there to be a you, but you're now a part of me. And I don't even know your name. I'm not a writer, and I'm not a book. But if I was, did you ruin my narrative? Did you spoil my story? Did you plagiarize and set fire to the pages of my legacy? Did this limit my ability for connecting? 'Cause you were the wolf, and now so am I.
Thank you. That was Scully Fox. Our last poet is the ruthless hippie himself, Michael Schmidt.
Thanks, Mart. I wanted to give Mart a quick plug because I actually showed up unprepared to do any poetry tonight. The reason I'm up here, I didn't want Danny to get arrested by the slam police for holding a slam with too few people, but I very recently did a workshop with Mart, and she actually does writing workshops on Saturdays at the Encinitas Library called Awaken the Poet Within. So if you ever need the muse, go talk to Mart, because I would not have a poem if it wasn't for her. So here it comes. This is something that was inspired by some artwork hanging up there in the library, and it's called Number 8. Lean into your dream. Lean into your dream. Lean into your dream to see what volumes might be forgotten. Lean into your dream. Lean into your dream to see in the endless combinations of black and white what record grooves, what delight might sputter abruptly. Inspiring, gleaming striations stretch to fit the limitless, liminal linings like a large intestine gurgling, great urges going forth, fomenting fear. But lean in and listen. Take its temperature and forget the volumes of circles struggling to complete themselves. Fall into your dream and feel the black cloud roll in its fullness.
Woo! Thank you, Michael Schmidt.
This is for everybody who wakes up in the middle of the night and thinks about stuff. Some of you know what I'm talking about. It's called Vampire Thoughts. They only come out at night. Daytime, busy, grabs me by the ankles, twirls me like a lasso, cracks me like a whip to keep worry at bay all day. You might say, busy is bliss. No time to think, no time to worry. Meanwhile, vampire thoughts lie still in their mantle coffins, waiting for the cool darkness of night to steal the light from my eyes so they can lift their heavy lids as mine fall softly shut. Leap out, inject their insidious incisors, suck away my sleep, and toss my helpless body side to side as they chant these dreadful words. Afghanistan, Taliban, Kim Jong-un, nuclear fun, Russian invasion, refugee migration, endless bombs, grieving moms, Putin, gluten, crabgrass, car needs gas, old age, road rage, carjacking, Will Smith attacking, COVID contagion, no vacation, mandates, interest rates, inflation, taxation, national debt, China threat, absentee dads, pop-up ads, teenage sexting, driving while texting, loss of hearing, genital piercing, divisive tweeting, global heating, missing bees, rising seas, brown air, goodbye polar bear. The Chargers left. Sunrise sends these scurrilous sleepsuckers scurrying back to their silk-lined slumber, while the beautiful bliss of busy begins to beguile me again.
Oh, woo! All right. Thank you, Brad. Thank you. Okay, next up is Zimbabwe.
It happened around 6 o'clock or 6:15, before the sun pulled down the curtain, before the light changed into dark. It had been an uneventful day up to that point anyway, and then up there in the southern sky, right next to Captain Kino's, I saw UFOs above the Shamrock Trailer Park. UFOs above the trailer park. Babies cried, women screamed, grown men yelled, "Mommy, mommy." I tried to find a place to hide, but aliens looked down and saw me. Transported by a beam of light, I floated off the ground. 2 silver doors opened up, and I heard a voice from somewhere say, "Feel free to look around." They took me to the future. They took me to the past. They took me into outer space, and then this little gray guy tried to jam this silver thing right at my... Well, never mind. They dropped me off at 4 o'clock before the break of dawn. They landed on the liquor store, and when I got let out, I turned around. They were gone. Listen, Deputy Mendoza, I know my story sounds kind of crazy, but I'm telling you the truth. I was abducted, flown around, and dropped off right here on the liquor store, which is why I'm on the roof. UFOs above the trailer park. UFOs above the trailer park.
All right. Thank you, Zimbabwe. Next up is Scully.
Real fast, I just wanted to thank you guys so much. I was actually just watching the 4:30 movie of The Whale, and then it ended when you guys were about to start, and someone was like, "Oh, you guys, you could do this if you want," and I never even heard of what a poetry slam was until right now.
That is wonderful. Thanks for telling us that. Thanks for staying.
Luckily, I have some stuff on my Google Docs. So this one's like pretty fucked up. It's about my mom who suffers from BPD. So sorry about being depressing. She walks past her mother on the bathroom floor, ties her shoes, grabs her bag, and she walks out the door. She can't be late to school again, and the neighbors will call the ambulance, and maybe she'll be fine, or maybe not this time. I'll swim for miles and miles just to sweat and drown you out. 25 foot deep, I hold my breath and pray the lights go out. My teachers take me home. My coaches sign parent consent. For now it's floors and 4 a.m., but someday I'll be fine. When you weren't passed out, you passed down. All the self-loathing bullshit I have to tell myself. but I swear I'll get better, not just sober, but better. And I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling let down. I feel like driving back to that place I left just to burn it all to the ground because I was only a child, and you tell me that I can't understand. But I'm pretty sure a mother doesn't make her daughter rip the bottle out of her goddamn hands. I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling let down, and I was only a child. I was only a child. Set me free, let me breathe, let me wash away the you, let me be the kid you don't want to see, then someday you try too hard to.
All right, thank you. Scully. Isn't that cool? She was watching a movie and stayed for the poetry slam. It's beautiful. Next is Adam, and after Adam, Nathan.
Hey there, this one is called Horse and Rider. Bucked off by a horse, and just as well. A creature undeserved of me, a beast less beastly than my flopping panoply of arms, dashing towards reins, half-made and wholly mad at being part of such a thing, as the outline we draw in the evening, a shadow crossing the sun where we run, half-mad and wholly made, to cross the grass on legs flying majestic in my ass. What mad nestled humor in the muscles brought together by my knees, wobbly and true, to a future as new as horse's heart mad beating, though it rocks as gently as a ship made tall against flat seas. The joy as fleeting as the dancing hooves are fleet, like music only drums, like the birth that brought me to the fold adventure of an animal as great as green and wholly seen by light of God as I forget and fall again, again, not worthy of it all. And yet this cannot be, as small as I may be, as much as I can't be grand enough for beasts, lean nest of woven tendons, flicking finger endings on this drum I see here under me, is me, so I must be. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Adam. Whoa, getting down to it. Nathan is next, and after Nathan, Michael Schmidt is back.
This one is called, very simple, She. She will listen to you for a little while, and then in her usual even voice, she'll say, "Fuck it. Just don't betray yourself." And suddenly, like something very heavy was taken from your hands, she removes your soiled alien hand-me-downs and burns them. She washes you all over, inside and out. All heavy charges against you are dropped. Bail is posted, and soon you are completely acquitted. You are released. She feeds you, tucks you into a warm, comfy bed, and in the morning wakes you with butterfly kisses to the aroma of your favorite coffee. She massages and relaxes your body, brain, and soul. She warmed your painful frozen heart. She sewn back your wings and reminded you how to fly. As the night approaches your village, on the Inspiration Hill, you see the sun kissing the sky and the ocean goodnight. This is your time.
Nathan, thank you, Nathan. All right, folks, now we have Michael Schmidt, then we have June, and last is Jessica.
There are many who've bled from the mind, crystalline truths on the passage of time. The creative drive is the human divine.
Woo! Michael. June is next.
This is called Meant to Be. Watching the pixels change on the Times Square Jumbotron, a random rant jabbed my ear. Risk is ubiquitous. Life is filled with uncertainty. What's your problem? Get used to it, sucker. Can't you see? It's all random, chaotic, uncertain. Darwin was right. Dog eat dog, got to be fit. Planning is futile. Identifying possibilities, calculating probabilities, solving for every equation, running through what-if scenarios, waste all of your energy. It's not my job to be responsible, to be accountable, to have all the answers, to save everyone, including myself. Don't you just want to be happy, like me? Because I believe whatever happens is meant to be. It's just all meant to be. I followed the words down to Bleecker Street, heard a squealing taxi, turned the corner, saw a woman grab a squirming child's hand. I watched a kaleidoscope of couples exchange mundane intimacies, content with planning unknown futures. And I kept on walking until the sky turned to velvet, until I merged with all the words and the sirens and the jackhammers, leaving the ranter far, far behind. Thank you.
Thank you, June. Okay, and last, Jessica.
Earth to God, do you look down on us the way people do the city from airplane windows? Why do children always wave and adults only smile at their imagination? Why does imagination dissipate like the magic of a cloud after flying through it, and you recognize it's just water? When do children stop believing clouds are cotton candy trampolines and replace a dreamscape with cumulus, nimbus, and stratus? Why did you give us language and science to learn logic, God? I'd rather keep feeling magic to wave down at the city and believe all the people are looking up just to smile back and think, wow, they defied gravity. We like learning loneliness as time goes on. Not all people will take the time to stop and wave back, and even if they could see us in airplane windows, would they look up? I met this boy from Michigan, and I'm a California girl. He took the time to wave at people sitting outside their vacation home with a big Midwestern hello. I didn't even see them until he did. That was magic. The fact two brothers decided to make jet planes when no one ever before left the ground, and now I flew there is such a casual sentence. I flew there. We took heavy metal scraps and took them to the sky. That's magic. How did you get to the sky, God? How much metal was actually put into angel wings? Why was heaven cut out to seem so weightless and perfect? Don't you know imperfection is a human condition? Why are there sins and repentance when you built us to hold so much water made to store, and we learned to call crying our hearts out as opening floodgates? Why did you give us metaphors, God, to make breakdown sound so biblical? Why do you only let the biblical into heaven when so much of what we know is just existence? Why do some people exist with more hatred? Their chests unopened floodgates holding weighted clouds they only wish was cotton candy. Their anger seeps out like loud, hissing steam and sears out all the good. I like to think we all hold, they breathe, skin-bubbling temperatures of unfounded hate in the middle of Ohio to other people, only people embracing their imaginative child where expression becomes limitless. Please tell me why we can accept the creation of flight when you made us flightless, but grasping at the idea we exist beyond boxed-in binary stories of Adam and Eve is a little too difficult. I'm trying not to steam, but watching the spiteful water dragons makes my floodgates simmer. Since when was it a crime to start believing clouds can be cotton candy? Why do we learn to fear imagination and the defiance of gravity? Airplanes are not the only way people fly. God, the earth tells me to stay grounded. You tell me a sky of heaven is reachable if I worship something I don't believe in. Maybe I will never know as much as you, God, but I do know this. I still have so much faith to give. After all, we are the ones who built magic. Thank you.
All right, Jessica. Thank you, Jessica. Okay, hey, you guys, a big hand for all the poets that have performed tonight so far. Yes. Thank you so much. Such amazing, amazing work. And so now we're going to be getting down to 3.
Okay, studies have shown it gives your brain a rush to see something that confirms your existing beliefs. I have social media friends on the left and the right, all going daily to their favorite political sites to reinforce their bias, then feel so pious when they post with pride as they deride the other side with unflattering photos. You know how that goes. Plus clips and news that support their views. Some of it's not even true, just allegations, insinuations, accusations, vilifications, and total fabrications. They get a temporary feeling of elation, but the result is polarization and alienation. See, tunnel vision and derision increase the division between left and right, making things more black and white, more day and night, creating more heat than light. They all think they're so right because they seek out things they already like. But these sites on the left and the right are myopic, spinning, telling, selling only one side of complex topics with labels and slogans. They generalize, oversimplify, even lie as they try to solidify their position. That's their mission. They don't want to complicate, so they create, without debate, simple solutions as their contribution to the resolution of hard problems. Then you, my friends, try to achieve your ends by choosing and using only these one-sided opinions. Left and right, you're ripping our country apart. Look, opinions one-sided are usually misguided, not facts. Besides, there are two sides to every story. We don't know what we don't know, so we should go slow when we post, taunt, and demand what we want. The devil's in the details. Many problems don't have a perfect solution. So at home tonight, visit some moderate and political debate websites. Watch people pick up the issues, turn them around, upside down, spin them left, spin them right until everyone gains new insights. When you're ready, go across the aisle, join the other team for a while at their news sources. As you do, don't look for what's wrong. Look for what's true. Try to see their point of view. Through their eyes, you'll learn to compromise. Left is here, right is there. It's not smart to stay apart because the heart, the brain, and the answers, a product of reason with a dash of compassion, are near the center. It's okay to be a debater who tries to make black and white issues grayer. But please, not a hater. Think only about the greater good. Left and right, let's not be rigid. Let's build bridges to the other side. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad McMurray. Next up for the final round is Jessica.
If my body could speak, I like to think she would forgive me for all the times I cut into her to try and prove to us we are more than skin and bone, she and I both covering our hearts with a ribcage that didn't know what the inside of us looked like yet. It took me a long time to learn my own anatomy, to learn no man gets to tell me my hips are less like hinge and socket and more like handlebars, to learn my anatomy was never designed for men to grab me, to learn no men ever had the right to grab my entire being with his eyes. The man on the bus who I ran into 3 separate times, feeling entitled to stare me up and down the whole 20-minute ride, who asked me my name, told me to speak up, mentioned to visit him at his work as if he were entitled to telling me how my legs should walk, as if he wanted to show me how he could turn my mouth and tongue into puppet strings just so he could pull, just like the other man felt like he could pull open my school folders when I walked away to the bathroom to return to his gaze, and I'm sorry, I just couldn't help myself. I don't know whatever gave them the right to violate my sense of privacy. My lack of a body does not mean you get to pull apart my life by wrestling through a backpack. My presence of a body does not mean you get to strip me down, take out all the human, and turn me into a thing. My own anatomy is not a thing. She is every heartbeat to every thought, to every breath, to every goddamn inhalation of life, so she knows how to spit out the taste of death. In other words, our body has taste buds, so we know when to turn our spit into venom, teeth into fangs, the muscle memory of our tongues into a hiss, which is to say, my body knows how to spit death right back and poison anyone who tells me my body is less than sacred, more puppet string than heartstring, more wind-up music box than own voice, more skeletal frame attached to ventilator than body capable of breath. I am done letting necromancers trick me into thinking I need them to feel alive. My body and I are the liveliest we have ever been. We set up shrines in front of mirrors, light candles alongside our reflection, trace our body with water on the tips of a paintbrush. We are sacred in all the ways our anatomy makes us human. Thank you.
Folks, that was Jessica. Okay, guys, one more poet, Scully, for the last round here. Yeah, aren't you glad you came to the movies at the La Paloma?
No, I'm just glad I had 3.
Okay.
All right, so with so many love poems, here's one about arguing with my significant other. Did I get out of bed wrong? I didn't mean for the light to hit your face. You were tossing and turning all night, fighting with your demons while my body just got in the way. All the while you apologize for things that I never said you've done. And now we're right back at the beginning of a fight that no one has ever won. So stop saying sorry, please. Do I need a tattoo across my forearm? Jesus Christ, love, I'm on your team. Just stop saying sorry, please. I want to fall asleep in your arms instead of waking up on my knees, because I'm waking up on my knees. You know, it only takes 1 second to hear something that I didn't say. What are we fighting about anyway? I didn't say it like that. That isn't something that I would say. So what are we fighting about today? Just give me a green light and give me a beat. Give me a chance to make the light so you can find your way back to me. Just give me a life vest and give me the sea. Put your lips upon my lips and breathe some life back into me. So stop. Just stop saying sorry, please. Do I need a tattoo across my forearm? Jesus Christ, love, I'm on your team. Stop saying sorry. Because I want to fall asleep in your arms instead of waking up on my knees. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Scully. That was our final poet. Okay.
If anybody has some time to get involved, these are the 2 people to talk to. If you want to see a smile on someone's face that's never been on a surfboard, that's probably never been in the water, that really doesn't have that great of communication skills in the first place, special needs people, I have to wear my water wings when I go in the water with them, so they don't let me get too close to the kids on the surfboards. They're afraid that, my water wings won't hold them up. But you're looking for people that can help, surfers, volunteers. It's an incredible experience seeing these people for the first time riding a wave into the beach, and the parents are just as thrilled as the kids. So thank you guys for doing what you do.
All right, first place is Brad. Brad. Congratulations, Brad. Did he do a great job, you guys? Money. Oh, okay, so, all right, so Jessica and Scully tied for second place. So you both get $75. Oh, hey, a big hand for our winners. Thank you, Jessica and Scully and Brad. 3 amazing poets and 9 amazing poets, actually, all of them are winners.
She's got that old time swagger with that new school touch. It's not if you love her, it's just how much. She don't want no bad boy of a toilet. Just some respect for a boss in your